Bassmaster Elite Series pros, FLW Series pros, local anglers, and then guys that are traveling country trying to qualify for the Bassmaster Elite Series. Because if you win one, you fish the Bassmaster Classic, and then if you finish in top 5 or 10 in points, you have the opportunity to be invited to fish the Bassmaster Elites. So you're fishing against the top level tier guys, and then you're fishing against your local pros that are signed up for that specific lake because it's in their backyard. And then there's guys like me where I don't really have a backyard advantage, except for at the Bassmaster Classic. If I win one, I'll have, it's an hour away from my house, so I'll be fishing in my backyard. But it looks like, you're anywhere from 200 to 290 boats for the tournament.
Wow.
And they're from Japan, Australia. They're from all over the world, including the U.S.
That's incredible. I think what I could relate it to is we do fishing derbies, salmon derbies out here. And it's like when we have a certain area that we fish, guys will come from outside the area. They don't necessarily know the territory, and then the locals have the advantage naturally.
Right.
I never thought about it from a bass perspective. I mean, that's like lakes worldwide. So
yeah.
Do you translate your skill set? Is it the same technique on every lake, or do you study that lake?
I show up a week before the tournament starts. So I'll have 2 or 3 days of unofficial practice, and then official practice starts the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before the tournament starts on Thursday. So I'm from Texas. I'm a shallow water guy. I love shallow water. If there's grass or vegetation, I'm in it. I'm going to try to find the dirtiest water to go fish. But that's not always the case with these lakes that we go to. And we go to Lake Table Rock. That's a clear body water, unless you run up to the James, which I typically do, and that's an hour one-way run, wide open, just to go to dirty water because that's where I'm comfortable at. But I can drop shot, I can fish offshore, I can fish deep structure, ledge fishing. Nowadays you have to be well-rounded in pretty much every technique out there. Because you can't just focus on shallow. You have to have shallow, deep, mid-range, trees, grass, rock. You got to know how to fish them all. And to be able to make it to the next level, that's what you got to do.
So what do you do to get better? Do you just fish all the time?
Practice.
Yeah.
You fish different bodies of water. Like where I live, Possum Kingdom Lake is about 20 minutes from my boat, from my driveway, and that's a clear body of water. I mean, it's crystal clear. It's clear. But I can go an hour the opposite direction and be fishing a total grass lake. I mean, just hydrilla and pads, and that's how you catch them, is punching and flipping the grass. And then you can go to a lake that's just across the street from my house, and it's in between. It's a tea-stained water. It's got grass. It's got rock. It's got wood. It's got everything that you can practice. And then in my backyard, which I live on a private lake, it's crystal clear water too. So it's just time on the water.
Yeah.
The luck factor at that level that we fish, there's no luck. You have to know what you're doing, the presentation, the seasonal patterns, where they're going to be in the morning, where they're going to be where they go when they get, let's say, 18 inches of water dropped out from under them overnight. Try to relocate those fish. You have to know what you're doing. It's not luck anymore. You have to know what you're doing.
I think that's kind of one of the beautiful things about fishing. It's like when we can control all the elements we can control, there's still the unknown and the stuff we can't control. And when it works, man, it's like the best feeling on the planet, right? Like it's an obsession. So that's kind of why I was excited to talk about you, like to you. I want to know your story. Like what what got you into, like, how did you get to the level you're at now? What's your journey as it relates to?
So my fishing journey, I guess, started, I don't know, back when I was a kid. I started fishing, the youngest I can remember is Father's Day weekend when I was 4. That was the first time we went to Minnesota as a family, up to Leech Lake. And we fished for northern pike, walleye, muskie, jumbo perch, yellow perch, rock bass. I didn't grow up bass fishing. My dad said, no, they're junk fish. They're too easy to catch. So we went fishing with fish that had teeth. So I did that all the way through high school. Last time I was at Leech Lake was when I was 18, right before I joined the military. I went up there for vacation, and then as soon as I got back, I went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. And then I didn't do a lot of fishing. I did some here and there. And then I got stationed at Fort Hood in Texas, and well, everybody bass fishes in Texas. And I had a friend that fished semi-pro in California, and he got me into fishing. And once I started catching some bass, I was like, this is kind of fun, kind of addictive. So that's where it started, was at Fort Hood. And then I started fishing Fishers and Men Trail with my team partner. First one was Mike Garrett, and the second one was Chuck Guthrie. And me and Chuck, we fished 4 or 5 years together, and we fished Fisher the Men, and then we went from Fisher's Men to Bass Champs, which is the biggest team trail in Texas. You're looking at 250 to 300 boats per tournament for a one-day tournament, and a chance to win 20 grand. So we did that, and then I went from fishing Bass Champs to fishing the Paralyzed Veterans of America Tour, which is a national tour, and they go anywhere from Wisconsin to Maryland to Connecticut, Indiana, Illinois, Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, Alabama. I mean, they go everywhere. So I started fishing those, and that was the individual trail. I ended up winning a couple tournaments, won my first boat in 2010, which was awesome, on Lake Gunnersville in Alabama. I fished that PVA trail for the 2010 full time, and I ended up getting second in points. Missed going to the Bass Federation by, I think, 3 points, because first place went to the Bass Federation Championship automatically. And that kind of set the stage for me to make the leap to the Bassmaster Opens, because, I was so used to doing team trails where it wasn't one person's decision, it was a team. So if, you had an idea, you talked it over with your team partner, and, if he liked it, you went. But if you didn't, I mean, you just had to write it out. Yeah. But that was the first year that I made my own decisions. I found my own fish. I had to do the work and the practice and fish multiple different bodies of water, from rivers to swamps to lakes to deep reservoirs to shallow reservoirs, to reservoirs where you can't use tungsten. Or lead. Couldn't use tungsten or lead. And it was just a unique experience, and it was a confidence builder to leapfrog me into the Bassmaster Opens after talking to some of the best best bass guys out there on the tour, which Kelly Jordan's one of my best friends. He's my mentor. He was like, "You're ready." He was like, "You can do it." So back in 2011, that's when I joined my first year.
Did you feel ready, or did you just go for it?
I just went with it. I mean, most of the times your path to fishing the Bassmaster Opens is you do as a co-angler, just to go out there and learn and get a feel for how the tournament works. And, you learn from the pro by watching them fish and seeing how they adjust and how they, attack a body of water. I didn't do that. I just said, I'm just going to go in and do it as a pro and learn as I go. And it took a while. I mean, it took a while. First, your first tournament, you're fishing against Gary Klein and Boyd Duckett, and you're fishing against the top tier guys in the industry, and you're just you're just like, wow, what am I doing here?
Right.
But, I'm not like that anymore. I've been doing it long enough, and they're just regular people like me, and most of them are really good friends now.
So how long have you been in the pros?
So I've been fishing them since 2011.
2011.
In between, I had 2 shoulder surgeries. Go figure. Fishermen have shoulder surgeries a lot. And then I took 2 years off when I had my youngest son that was born in 2017. So this is my first year back full time.
Gotcha.
I did a couple as a co-angler just to do it, but that's not my deal. That's just not any fun for me.
Yeah. So what do you love about fishing?
The tournaments or fishing?
Fishing.
Fishing.
Why do you love to fish enough to go pro?
I love the challenge of going out and find a fish that will bite my lure. It's the competition. It's the accomplishment of trying to figure them out, because we're really intelligent people, but bass, they're smart too. They're elusive, and you can't catch them every time. And I've been teaching that with my son. We'll go out there one day and just catch them. Catch them really good, and then the next 10 times we won't go out and catch hardly any of them. Mm-hmm. But I just love being outside. It's my safe place. It's where I can go, and it doesn't matter if they bite. I'm still going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy being out there and experiencing God's world, and just being with nature, and I don't know, just fishing. It reminds me of being a kid, just going fishing, with a bobber and a worm, and it's just the simple things that I really I really enjoy doing.
What's your most favorite fishing memory?
Oh, there's a lot of them. I would say it's not even involves freshwater fishing. One, I'll give you a couple. So